So, Michael, what are your expectations for Caleb's second NFL season?
Man, the more and more I thought about these expectations, these are they're gigantic expectations for the franchise, for the organization, for Caleb Williams personally. When you look at what Chicago Bears have done, okay, last year they got the #1 pick. This year they went and signed the #1 pick as far as coaching from the head coach position. He was the #1 offensive coordinator. He has done great things in Detroit. Now he comes over to Chicago. Him and Caleb are tied at the hips. They're expected. Right now, they have to build what the future of Chicago's passing game, quarterback situation is going to be forever. I asked earlier, when we talk about quarterbacks for the Chicago Bears, who comes to mind? Who did you say?
I said Sid Luckman. Wait, I said Sid Luckman.
Right.
Then I said Jim McMahon.
Right.
And then I probably went into like Mike Tomczak.
You could have stopped after Sid. You could stop after
Cardell Stewart.
Right, exactly. And they missed out on the Patrick Mahomes, and at the time, the second best quarterback was Deshaun Watson. All of that, when you took a Trubisky, all that pressure now falls right on Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson because of that marriage. We took the #1 quarterback one year, got the #1 head coach, and we need to see at least what they're doing over there in Washington with Jaden Daniels. We need to see that this year.
You know, the expectations is to be better at the quarterback position. Just the position needs to be better, which is Caleb. The team needs to be better. You got Ben Johnson. You wanted an offensive mind. You didn't want to play for a defensive coach, so they went out, Ryan Poles went out and got the #1 guy available. So now you have to be willing to accept the coaching and not the Mr. I'm #1, I know it all type. Just he's been successful with the quarterbacks that he's coached. You embrace that, and you could have a fast turnaround because I can guarantee you right now, Joy and Paul, and Michael, I don't need to address it with him because he already knows. If anything less than improvement in the Chicago, both as a record and at that position, we will next offseason be talking about what are they going to do with Caleb Williams moving forward. That's what we're going to be saying.
Man.
It's how the league is, though.
Yeah.
You get an opportunity to learn how to drive to the stadium. You get an opportunity to start to show some progress. By the time you get to your third year, you better be kicking down the door of a real Pro Bowl type player, whether you in it or not, but it's got to be right there where people looking at you going, it's a Pro Bowler. But that second year, with this type of these type of players around you in a roster, anything less than improvement, I promise you.
But what does that look like? Improvement? Playoffs?
No. The improvement at the position.
Just okay.
What
play
you
better.
look like? Are you gonna play better?
But they put them in a position to thrive. They really are. They got you the coach you probably needed or one at the time. They shored up their offensive line.
Yes.
Because he was the most sacked quarterback rookie, I believe, if not the.
They've addressed all the issues.
They've addressed the issues. So, what does improvement look like? Him to play better, not get sacked, be accurate,
all of those.
Win
things.
some more games you did than a year ago.
All of that. You can't.
I think there's more pressure than we putting on because when you look at these other quarterbacks,
the last 2 years, you got to go.
That's why I said,
and you the #1 pick.
Young quarterbacks.
I hate to say it, but like the pressure, he has to be feeling it because I'm feeling like, damn, if I'm the #1 pick and my peers, they out there making the playoffs, making a name for themselves, and I know I'm only in my second year, but me as a person, as a player, I'm gonna feel that pressure. So I know the organization, and they feel pressure to like get this done or make a playoffs this year.
And that's why I said that it does not perform at a level, Joy, that is acceptable. Next spring, we'll be talking about what are they going to do with Caleb. Because, again, you got to remember, I ain't drafting.
Right.
You drafted him.
Right.
Man, but that's why the best thing, once you got Ben, they're tied at the hips now. They're tied at the hip. Ben has to make sure that relationship with Caleb Williams, he has to make sure that he's putting in plays, they're running the game for this kid. Their success is so tied together. That's the best thing this kid has right now. Because
I don't know that the success is tied together, Michael. I understand what you're saying. Again, Ben didn't draft him. Now I'm putting in all the play. I'm giving him everything. I'm giving him everything.
I know, but this was the first pick in the draft the year prior to, and if Ben had taken that job, he would have drafted him. So it's not like
yeah, but I didn't take the job, so therefore I did draft him.
Second rounder. It's not like it was third. This was going to be the top quarterback no matter what.
Yeah.
So that pressure don't leave just because you didn't draft him. You got him now, and you were the top guy coming in.
Yeah, but if I'm giving you everything,
his reputation's on the line.
If I'm giving you everything,
because he can't go say, well, I didn't have the quarterback at that place. I didn't have. He's got to turn this into the quarterback.
What Ben's going to say is I've given him everything. I've given him an offensive line. I've given him receivers. I've given him a defense. I've given him a running game. I got good assistant coaches. And I got a 6-year deal. So I didn't draft him. No matter what you might think. I like Jaden Daniels, but I wasn't getting the Washington job. I didn't accept the Chicago job. I didn't accept it.
Yeah,
remember, he didn't accept the job. It wasn't like all of a sudden he was just interviewing. He pulled his name out for whatever reason. And all I'm saying to that is Caleb has to, because I've seen it too many times where coaches inherited young quarterbacks and given them an opportunity to do something, and they got up off of them immediately to save their own skin. That's all I'm saying.
I am trying to think of a specific player that has more pressure next season than Caleb Williams.
Ooh.
And I'm sure we'll make a list, so this will be one of Keith's big lists.
Right.
Soon. Maybe it'll be this
Dak Prescott #1. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, I think Caleb is up there. Now, I was banging on the table last year that the expectations should not be what they were, that they needed to give him runway to enter into the league, that despite the fact that they made all those moves and brought in all those veterans, this is a team that hasn't had stability and hasn't had an offensive identity ever. And the expectations were out of control last year, which I think added to the unnecessary pressure and the feeling this year that it absolutely has to change. You've got Ben Johnson. You made changes to the offensive line, so we're not going to look at 68 sacks next year and say that it's just the offensive line. That's not going to be able to happen again, or your career is going to be a lot shorter than you expect it to. They still have never had a 4,000-yard passing quarterback in the history of their team.
Right.
And you're looking at your peers, which you are always judged against. You're looking at the guys that came into the draft with you, which you are always compared to, and what rookie and young quarterbacks are doing as quickly as they are in situations where teams make moves. And the one thing that you can't say about the Bears is that they're not aggressively trying to do things. Whether you do the right thing or not, I have to reward activity. Yeah. I have to reward attempts to try and put the pieces around him that are correct. And now you've gone out and gotten the coach. There has to be some progression this year. And I think they will be. I think he's going to develop into the quarterback that we all expected him to be coming into the draft. Now, obviously, comparing someone to Patrick Mahomes, I think is a very silly thing to do, just why I don't like people comparing anyone to Tom Brady. It's like, let's just lower the bar to a little bit of reason.
Right. But in that vein, Patrick Mahomes, when he found Andy Reid, it was a great, perfect match. Andy Reid had pretty good quarterbacks prior to, but that match there seemed to be perfect. That's what this needs to be. This needs to be one of those. This is the beginning of that kind of a relationship.
Yeah. Oh, it would be
great. Where you can see how I saw Andy Reid with Donovan McNabb, and I see Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes. The things you see Patrick Mahomes do, Donovan wasn't that free in playing. He didn't play that freely. On the hand, control. Patrick Mahomes knows that's his team. This is my offense. That's what I'm expecting Ben Johnson to give to him. Ben Johnson had success with what we would call a less talented Jared Goff. Jared Goff, even though he was top pick, he was less talented Jared Goff. I'm expecting him to go to the moon with this kid right here.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.